My name's Eleanor Dorrien-Smith. I'm the owner of a label called PARTIMI. We kind of looked at who we're speaking to a little bit, but people who are starting up companies, or people who have already been doing it for a while. So I apologize if it doesn't always isn't appropriate for you, but hopefully I'll be able to relay some of my experience and answer some of your questions. So a little bit about me and PARTIMI. PARTIMI is a ready-to-wear brand that is now in its fourth commercial season. I have 4 stockists. I stock in 69B Broadway Market in London, and also on Dover Street at a company called Rouse Island, and then also there's a couple of really great online stores called Young British Designers and Ursa Love. So wonderful people supporting young designers are great. And myself, I graduated from Central St Martin's in 2008. And at the end of year show, I was spotted or picked up or whatever by a contractor for the US retailer Anthropologie. So I was suddenly kind of propelled into going from uber crazy St. Martin's to design to doing a very kind of professional thing, which was really great, but very extreme learning curve. But it was just such a great opportunity, and also by doing that, I was able to get the funding to set up PARTIMI as a ready-to-wear business. A lot of what I do is about the experiences that I've had, and one of the most important experiences you can have as a designer is also working with other designers. I was a bit of an intern freak. I loved doing internships, so I took a year out as part of my course to do internships, but I'd already done them in every single holidays and also after I had graduated, because I just think you can't get enough of it, and it's really important. And I think if you want to start up a business, you really need to look how other people do it. You think you know how things work, but you never know at all. And it's better to learn by other people's mistakes than by your own as well. And when I was setting up, I also got in contact with the Center for Sustainable Fashion for advice, as I'd always felt that kind of working in a responsible way and considering all your elements, your materials and everything was the way to do things. And kind of I was inspired by my mother and my grandfather, who are architects and who had always been aware of sustainable methods of building, and also kind of hippies on my dad's side as well. That was great. And then anyway, thinking about what I could focus on today and speak to you about. Well, firstly, I was looking at speaking to you about kind of different fabrics and different eco-fabrics and ways of printing and this, that, the other. Simply, I research a lot, and so I really wanted to not really go into that and say that you need to go out there and do the research yourselves, and there's a lot of really good ways to do that, and I think that's part of the process and that's part of the journey. So it's tough and it takes a long time, but I think it's important to do it yourself. And so I realized that the most important thing that I thought I could relay today is how to, really the elements of running a fashion business, which is to, run it as a successful business. And whether it's an eco business or not, you need to really get the experience in order to do that, because you need to succeed, you need to make money, and there's no point doing it if it's an expensive hobby, and unless you want to do that, but you want it to work for you. And so you have to use these approaches wisely. There's a lot of way of doing things, and when you're starting out, there's a temptation to want to, look at all the different ways of doing things, but it doesn't always work that way. You need to be efficient in the way and what you choose and how you make it work. And when you're growing, remember that you're growing, and you need to make it work for you. Remember that you're trying to run a business as well as carving out a new and exciting, fresh fashion industry. It's normal for other industries to really think about how using environmentally friendly or ethical methods can improve their quality, reduce their waste, and increase their long-term efficiency, and ultimately save their money. So saving money, for some reason within the fashion industry, maybe I'm wrong, but it seems that it's not something that really comes up, and it's not something that you're really taught. So you're kind of a little bit pressured into doing all these very extravagant things which do cost money. And really, as a business, when you need to reduce your costs, and I think there was a question that came through about how do you survive your first year of business, and really it's kind of streamlining and cutting out unnecessaries. And the main thing is to make a product and sell it, and anything else is additional to that. And believe in yourself and your ability to communicate your ideas to potential customers without the need for extravagance. And so going back to the idea of experience, I would say it's so important. So I would say if you're starting up, if you feel like you've got enough experience, go get some more, or find a business partner who is complementary to your skills. It's quite hard as an artist to be able to kind of do everything. So if you've got someone who's there who can help you out with maybe your accounting or kind of legal issues, then that's wonderful. And don't rush into it. It's very when you're creative, you just want to get out there and create. And I think it's really important to take your time, gather the knowledge that you need, and because the last thing we want is more inexperienced designers out there. I want you to, when you do it, to go out there and make some money and really succeed, because it is tough, and you need to be prepared for that, and you don't want to kind of be in difficult position. You are ambassadors for a movement within the ethical sector, so you want to be out there and you want to really be perceived as people who know what they're talking about and really feel confident, because we need to get this ethical thing up and running, and that really helps. And so talking a little bit about your USP as an ethical designer, you need to think carefully about that. And ethical design is wonderful and fantastic, but unless it's kind of really part of your technology and the manufacturing, and that is the thing that makes you special, you need the ethical thing to kind of be an intrinsic area within your design rather than something that is leading it. The product needs to stand up by itself. So think very carefully about how you're planning that. And then now a little bit about design and working your sustainable processes into your normal design process, because I don't think it needs to be a separate thing. It doesn't need to be a scary thing. You can pick one element of sustainability and research it. I mean, don't think you need to go in and know it all right away, and make the research process as much as you would research an artist era or a certain plant. If you're creating a collection, you can also research an organic cotton bud or milk fiber or or organic wool or new fibers or 3D printing, for example, and that can be your inspiration. And you can kill two birds with one stone. Research that instead of researching something else that it wouldn't necessarily help your timing. And so successful designs are all built on good researches. And so you use all this to help for your design. And where am I at now? And then getting into sourcing, once you've kind of got your inspiration, sourcing well and sourcing in a way so that you're setting yourself up well for production is really important. And actually within the ethical area, because you have to source so carefully, and because you have to really think about who your producers are, what the fibers are, can you get it again for production, it really helps you out. Because actually when the kind of traditional process of just kind of finding a fabric, any old fabric, can kind of lead to problems, whereas if you're more involved with the manufacturing process, just kind of as you have to be with ethical fashion, it really helps with your efficiency as a business. The last thing I just wanted to say, that just let the limitations that may be a little bit scary within ethical design kind of inspire you, and let them define your design, so that you're working with things you don't necessarily have a huge choice out there, but it's really inspiring once you kind of get down to it and really research it. And it's really satisfying when you've got a product where you've researched the fiber and you've researched the printing method and you've researched the manufacturing method, and the inspiration all comes from one place, and it just makes for a really good whole product. And I think Mark's demonstrated that, and I think a lot of designers out there doing it. So go and do it as well, because we need it. And that's it.